Pleased to welcome right now on Fire by Night one of the nation's top speakers to young people, Josh McDowell. All right, Josh, we got something that is really exciting. Lee, you've been in our studio audience, and what do you got there?
Blaine, I've collected questions from our studio audience about sex and about this show.
Okay, well, let's mix them up. How many we got in here?
We got 3.
Okay, mix them all up.
Here we go.
3 questions. All right.
We're going to make it hard for us. There we go. They all came on at one time.
Okay.
I got to answer all 3, right?
Yeah, you got to answer all 3, and I know there'll be good answers. Here's the first one, Josh. I'm afraid I may have one of those sexual diseases. What should I do? That's a good question.
Well, I think there's a lot of people need to be concerned about that. Anyone who has had sex with anyone should be concerned about having a sexually transmitted disease, because there's 58 of them. And especially if you have sex with somebody who's had sex with more than 2 or 3 people, I think, one, you need to go get some of the tests. Yeah. You need to go to a gynecologist. You need to go to a doctor and talk with him to get your own peace of mind and then have some of the tests run.
Question
number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Okay, Lee. All right. Good question here. How old should I be to date?
You can't give any age on that, because the Bible says every parent is to bring up a child according to their personality, according to who they are. And that, like I have 4 kids, and I can't bring my 17-year-old up the way I bring my 15-year-old up. I have to bring each one up individually. And so when my 2 oldest children came to me, and they kind of teamed up and said, "Dad, how old do we have to be?" I said, "I don't know, but here's several prerequisites, and I think they're biblically based. You're not old enough to date until I, as your father, who really loves you and cares about you, have seen the character developed in your life and the spiritual maturity and emotional maturity where I believe you can go out on a date with someone, not just anyone, but someone you really like, and that person can pressure you sexually, and I believe you have the character to say no and act upon it. Because until I believe you can do that, I would not be a loving father to let you date. Because everyone here in the audience, every person, my children, are going to be pressured sexually by someone they really like. And then I tell my children that you're not ready to date until you've shown me the character and the emotional, spiritual maturity to be able to put off immediate gratification to the future. See, that's the whole issue with drugs, with sex, everything. And until I see that in my children, they're not old enough to date.
All right, question number 3.
Question number 3.
Here we go.
All right.
Okay, this is good. How about holding hands and kissing a little? Is that okay?
Yes and no. I mean, I wish I could say absolutely yes, but you have to realize in today's society, young people, we have all different types of people who come from emotional hurts, who come from sex abuse, who've been raped, who come from broken homes, who are crying out for love. And I told my son, if you date a girl who comes from a broken home or a dysfunctional home or does not have a mom and dad who really loves each other, and I said, son, you don't even know. Maybe they've been raped, they've been sexually abused, and sometimes just a kiss or hanging on hands can be too far.
Right.
It can trigger emotions in that person. But if you take someone who's from a very secure home, they got a very functional home, and they're emotionally healthy themselves, then hanging on hands, an embrace, a kiss is not too far. And what is hurtful here, Blaine, is that these kids right here are growing up in a society totally different than I did. And they have to be so much more sensitive to people they're with, or you can add to their use and the abuse instead of having a healthy relationship.
Yeah, that's excellent. You've got a brand new curriculum that's going to be released shortly. In fact, we plan to offer it through Fire by Night. We've got just a few seconds here as we close. Tell us what the focus of this curriculum is and what you're trying to accomplish with it.
The whole curriculum is called PowerLink. And what it is, it's a strategy to help young people to share their living faith in Jesus Christ with their friends. I believe one of the greatest needs today is for young people your age right here, for teenagers to step out in faith in a very loving way to confront their contemporaries with the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so PowerLink is one of the first ever nationwide emphasis to do that very thing.
Wow, it's excellent. And part of that is taped right here at Fire by Night, and we're grateful to be a part of it. And Josh, we want to publicly thank you for the tremendous voice that you've been to young people.
There's no more questions in there?
And the church, that's all.
Okay.
Thank you very much.